guys, today I'm gonna talk about the art bubble and why it is so toxic. So basically, when I started to draw every day, my goal was to eventually be able to publish my own manga with a publisher. For that goal I was ready to sacrifice basically everything. I went on and through every day I basically spent all my time drawing and researching about art and manga and how you create good panels, all kinds of stuff. But all I've done was draw, and in my head was only this one goal. I didn't have a life outside of this bubble, of this art bubble. And with everyone I talked about art, it was all the same, when you're in this bubble and your goal is living off of your art, then you will attract only people that have the same mindset and that will that will just have the same goal and the same admiration for this career path. But if you think about it, to be able to create good art, you really need to live. You need to live your life. You need to experience stuff outside of your room, outside of your head. You need to experience life. You need to be able to make good art. You need to be able to represent some aspects of life, even if your story should be a fantasy work or sci-fi or whatever. Eventually you need to have some experiences of life to be able to write a good story, to make good art. And I think what is really toxic about this art bubble, not even the art community, but the bubble you're in when you constantly think about your goal, is that you never get out of this headspace. So for me personally, still is, and it always was, just art. In my head it's only art. I go to work, I chose my apprenticeship with art in my mind. I'm currently in an apprenticeship to interactive media designer, which is a pretty artsy job, and it's cool. I really love it. But when I chose an apprenticeship or university, I thought about if it would help me with my art, and I think this is pretty toxic. For you to being able to build a life you want, you need to be able to think independently of what you want. Of course, you may say art is what you want to do. I totally get it, it's the same for me. But you can't be sure if this will be possible one day. And you will need to be thinking about what you do if it's not possible. And maybe if it's not possible, you have other interests outside of art that you want to be able to live. So meet friends and maybe get an academic job, like maybe chemistry. You're really interested in chemistry, but you wouldn't get an education there because it doesn't help your art. And I think from my perspective, it is very toxic to only think about art, because as I said, once you're at that point, you only think about art, it gets draining. You won't think about art and love every second of it, because it's not your hobby anymore. It's your whole life, you know, and eventually when you only do one thing your whole life, it will be eventually not as fun anymore. There are times where I really hate doing art, but I just push through because I set this goal in my mind and I cannot quit, you know. Everybody's telling me, oh, you're so talented and one day you will become this good artist and blah. And it's really pressuring, you know. Of course, it was my decision. Of course, I wanted it this way and I still want to become an artist one day, but I wish that at times I could just let go of this idea for a certain amount of time. I wish there were evenings where I could just enjoy my anime and or my series or my film or whatever, or going out with friends, and where I wouldn't have to think about, oh, I'm wasting time, I could draw now. And I think many ambitious people feel the same way, whether it's with art or with any other topic. There are just times where you need to be able to let go of an idea. There are times where you need to rest, you know. Of course, art is not a very physical job. I mean, at least me, I'm always sitting around at my desk drawing. But it's very draining mentally. Always you draw and then you put it on the internet, and then there are not many people who like it, or it doesn't get the recognition you wanted it to. And this is a constant feeling of not making it, you know. You feel like you're always failing because you put so much time and energy in and there are no results. But wasn't the original idea for you to do art just for yourself? Remember at the beginning when you started doing art, you enjoyed every second of it. You just drew for the sake of drawing, and maybe you came up with story ideas just for the sake of writing them. There was no second thought about whether people would like it or not, or it would get many likes. It was just creation. You wanted to create something, and this is very beautiful. And I think to maintain that idea of art, you have to be able to cut at times. You need to be able to get art out of your mind and just enjoy the moment doing something different. And maybe also for a longer period of time. Maybe you're really drained of doing art and you just want to take some time off, like a week or 2 weeks. I mean, why wouldn't you do this? It's like a vacation and you need that. But in your head, this is like a failure, right? And this is the bubble I was talking about. This is the toxic art bubble in your head, where you just constantly think about art. You just constantly think about the things you need to do, the things you need to learn, the time you need to invest in your future, in the things you want, in the things you eventually want to become reality. And don't get me wrong, I want you to try everything to become the best version of yourself and to become the artist you want to be. I just think that it's very important to get some time off, to rest, to also get in another headspace, get other ideas in your head, and then come back more creative than ever. See you guys.